Mike. Mike. Mike.
It's Thursday, June the 30th, 2016. It's just after 8 p.m. This is first night in this area here. A lot of bugs, a lot of deer flies. Hopefully we get some visitors tonight. Flies out here. Mosquitoes. Recently, I'd been given a new location, just kind of fell into my lap, kind of came to me, and this was my first visit to that location, which was very close to the cottage area that I'd had my previous experiences with Nefatian family. And it was a bit too much of a coincidence having this location come to me as it did. Just the proximity of it to the old spot there. So sure enough, I showed up, and so did my forest friends. I ended up having what I believe was a young male messing around with me, although on a very subtle level. For the most part that night, I was almost disappointed, showing up, and it seemed like nobody was around, but running the audio really told a different story. So I had this young male, and he was messing around. It's difficult to understand how some of his actions could play out, considering there were moments of contact, or very close contact, with the audio recorder, which sat inside my tent, laying on a mesh hammock up near the top of the tent. It was probably hanging about 6 inches or so below from the peak of the tent. As soon as I fell asleep, his actions around my tent were something I've heard all too often. The mosquitoes were thick when I arrived, and they dissipated as the night wore on, as the temperatures cooled off. There was no humidity, and I even got a bit of a chill that night at one point. But it was kind of funny there. Almost immediately upon falling asleep, he started with some vocals right at the audio mic. I almost passed it by the first time, and thought it was a mosquito, and then I played it back, and I thought, after I'd heard another vocal a few minutes later, and then I went back to it, and I thought, it's just a little bit too much bottom end on that. So there's what I'm pretty convinced is a mosquito mimic, and it was followed by another small, easily discernible vocal into the mic roughly about 5 minutes later, which supports the earlier mosquito kind of call into the microphone. There's actually a few of them, and it was even happening while I was awake, because there's some other audio there, and it's just kind of funny how I didn't hear it. You know, there's things going on right there, and I'm laying there wide awake watching the stars because I had the tent fly off, and I lay there for several hours just watching the stars, right? And there was stuff going on right at the mic, and I didn't hear any of it. But you can hear small steps around my tent, as well as walking up to the other recorder, which I'd placed roughly about 40 plus yards away. And considering that he's just a very young juvie, I'm quite confident that there would be an older sibling or adult there to watch over things. So I'm very happy that I've shown up only once at this stage, and I have a young one messing with me. That shows trust on their part, and they're comfortable with having their children come very close to me, which I'm very grateful for that. So although this audio may seem ambiguous, especially to the skeptics, as everything is, my own experience has shown me enough that I know I have a young Sasquatch doing what they love to do, and that's mess with those of us who are trusted enough to interact with them. What is